Hey Roy, it's good to be back. So obviously we had some big movements in the market. Let's get into your perspective of what's happening. What is happening on your charts?
Right. So we have to understand that every now and then there are geopolitical events in that are meaningful, that are impactful, and there's no real way to predict these things in advance.
Yeah,
They just roll out, they just happen on the spot. And what you have to do as a professional day trader is to have the capacity to react immediately on the spot, and sometimes doing stuff that are counterintuitive, such
yeah,
as closing losing trades and flipping over.
yeah,
So not just closing losing trades, but also gambling on the other side. So basically taking a risk twice, taking a loss and then taking a bigger risk, basically.
yep.
So that's what happened to me yesterday. I hate it when it happens.
What happened exactly? Um,
So yeah, but before I'll start to describe the actual procedure,
yeah,
it's not fun. Like it's
yeah,
very stressful, and you're scared. There's no other way to put it.
yeah,
Like stressed out, a little bit scared, and that happens every, I don't know. It could be once every, a year, once a year, once a couple of years,
yeah,
maybe once a few months, but it's not common.
yeah,
So I was having my bullish positions in place. I was long on the market. I was bullish on the market,
yeah,
both from short-term perspective and long-term perspective. Israel opened an attack, unprecedented, for the very first time on Iran officially in the middle of the night, a sneak attack, but a very comprehensive, all-out attack.
yeah,
And I'm thinking, wow, they're targeting their nuclear facilities. Now, we also know that Iran is not like a negligible force. This
yeah,
is a force to be reckoned with. So I'm thinking, whoa, this is real. And the market obviously acknowledging that.
yeah,
So the minute that realization came to me, and I'm talking about seconds, right? I'm
yeah,
like, holy, I gotta get the hell out of here and not just close those now losing bigger and bigger as long as by the minute it just gets more and
yeah,
more, the losses are starting to pile up.
yeah,
Like I have to take immediate action, but not just close those losing trades, but actually flip over twice as hard to
yeah,
compensate on the losses and make try to catch that move. If that's the move that's coming, I have to catch it.
yes,
But I also need to compensate on losses I just have to take.
yeah,
So aggressively, boom, 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 boom. And whenever that happens, I usually just wanna. Well, that's I know this from experience. I just need to close, shut down my trading system, and walk away.
yeah,
Because if I'm gonna stay glued to the screen, I'm screwed.
yeah, I've
It's gonna
got
come
you.
up and down, and I'm not. It's gonna
Yeah,
confuse me in a way that I just wouldn't know what to do, and that's a recipe for disaster. So I'm putting those trades on. I've made that decision according to the new data
yeah,
coming in.
yeah,
Made a decision. I have to stick with it for good or worse, but most importantly, get out of there.
yeah,
Shut down my laptop. Walked away.
yeah,
In my mind, I know this is, it's tactic. The tactic I have now a very heavy size positioning on the downside, and I
yeah,
know something is unfolding, something
yep,
big is unfolding.
yeah,
I'm starting to talk to people, starting to reach out, news outlets, and I'm realizing this is big.
yeah.
So I decided to come back to the market 3 hours later. And like
Yeah, you're
I
going
don't know
again.
I don't even know what to expect
That's
because
crazy.
obviously it could end up as nothing. Like imagine they attack their nuclear facilities, there's no reaction from their side, and everybody goes home happy. I mean, not likely, but
Yeah, it
it
can
can
happen.
happen.
Yes.
It can happen. So I don't know what to expect.
Yeah.
I launched my trading system and I'm like, whoa, I'm in huge profit. The market is nosediving.
Yeah.
And I just, because there was so much profit and
Yeah.
I just came out of losses, I just wanted to compensate on those losses, maybe make a small profit at the end of it. I'm going to be super happy.
Yeah.
I immediately closed out all the trades, even though they didn't reach the target.
Yeah.
I closed them out because the profit was satisfactory.
Yeah. I've got you.
Closed it out, so in these times of hectic times, I guess rules and regulations go out the window, kind of.
Yeah.
It's too hectic. Yeah, it's hard to stick to your game plan in times like these.
Yeah.
Anyway, closed out the trades. We're happy. Was happy. Went out again. Walked away. Came back a couple of hours later, and I'm seeing the market roughly around the same levels. And I'm thinking, you know what? I was impulsive with my reaction, obviously.
Yeah.
Let's go back to the game plan.
Yeah.
Let's
Trade the
go back to
game.
the game plan. Let's continue on that trajectory
Yeah.
and chase those targets that I knew I needed to chase,
Yeah.
right? It was just so emotional.
Yeah.
So slowly but surely, I started to drip those trades back in, but not as aggressive, not even close
Yeah.
to the aggressiveness I had at the beginning. So I was
Crazy.
now cautious.
Yeah.
I can show you what's going on.
Yeah,
Like,
what I
let's take a
actually
look at the
want to know
market.
from you, Roy, while we're on here is where did you see the reaction happening? And if you've got any information or
Yeah,
perspective of why did it happen? Because my thing is like, obviously, we've got crypto, which is not necessarily like it's not the same as Forex. Like we discussed that in previous videos as well. I just want your
right.
perspective on why is crypto going down? Why are we seeing a downwards movement from that geopolitical
Right.
event?
Well, first of all, we have to remember it's all market. The only thing that's going up is those safe havens. So usually, when the market, where when things bad happen, right, in the world,
Yeah,
geopolitical events or whatever, disasters or political, all kinds of political events that are major,
yeah,
they create this flight to safety behavior. So investors are dropping high risk assets,
yeah,
so to speak, which crypto is one of them.
yeah,
Crypto is one of them, and they're shifting funds to safety or to safe haven assets such as gold, silver, U.S. dollar
yeah,
is a flight to safety asset. So you can clearly, if you watch in the forex market, you'll see the dollar is going up
yeah,
and up, right?
yeah,
Like people dropping higher risk currencies and shift to the US dollar that's represents the biggest, the strongest economy in the world.
yeah,
That's a safety move anyway.
yeah,
But yeah, the crypto market's considered to be a risky asset class.
yeah.
And when things like that happen, we see the market drop. There's no
Yep.
doubt about it. I wish it wasn't. I wish it wasn't the case, but it is the case. As far as I'm concerned, I just need to know it, realize it, and act
Yeah.
accordingly. Like act accordingly.
Yeah.
So that's what I just, and you can see the market's just dropping. It's very unusual. It
Yeah.
didn't do it in the last few months. Like, oh, something's up. So yeah, I can show you some.
Yes, please.
I can show you exactly what's happening. Like, I had, for example, Avalanche, right? I was low. I was in a bullish position on the Avalanche, and in fact, and I'm taking you now a week ago. I'm taking you a week back
Yeah.
to roughly the 7th of June.
Yeah.
So pricing was just starting to turn around. It just had a bit of a low, and it started to turn around. The minute it passed through 1992 here, which is our cross price matrix
Yeah.
trigger level, I felt like, okay, there's a very interesting opportunity. The Avalanche wants to go up and wants to go back up to where it came from.
Yeah.
So for me, the path was all the way up to 25.48, this black line that you see right here.
Yeah.
And I had a secondary target at 22.55. Price action went up and it hit my secondary target. So that was great. I was already taking profit off the table.
Yeah.
But I expected a continuation. And I didn't get it, right? So price action got that rejection off of 22.55 and started to turn around.
I go back
But
down.
first, that slowly. I didn't think too much of it. I was like, yeah, that's okay.
Yeah.
It got some rejection. It's going to come back up and break that level and march forward towards that ultimate target that I've just mentioned, 25.48. But that didn't happen, right? So then the next day, which was yesterday, I see price action start to drop. Now I figured it's not going to be able to break below 21.49 here. That level is going to provide support.
Yeah.
And then I see the market keeps sliding below and then accelerating, right? So at that point, I'm now already in a loss.
Yeah.
Like that profit that I had on that position, even though I took some profit out, now in the remaining of the position, I'm now in a negative territory. And I see the market and I watch that avalanche and that moves just escalate.
Yeah.
And that negative momentum is starting to get up, getting serious. And then I'm looking at my phone and I'm like, holy, this geopolitical event is rolling out.
Yeah.
And that's where I made a decision. Basically, I cut my losing position and flipped over roughly where that red dotted line.
Yeah.
Right. And like I said, shut down my laptop and walked away.
Yeah.
Came back 3 hours later, price action from 21 was now trading at 18.50, which is a huge move for 3 hours.
Yep.
And that's where I kind of, panicked in a way.
Yeah.
In a good way though, and closed out all of my trades, came back a couple of hours later, and I see the market in exactly the same spot that I left it. And I'm like, okay, this is bigger than what I thought. This is real. This is not going anywhere. I feel like this is going to last longer.
Yeah.
Not just a quick, immediate reaction of the market, but something more sincere.
Yeah.
So I said, you know what? Let's go back into those positions because the target originally, right, is 17.17. This blue line right here on the bottom.
Yep.
That's my target if I'm short on the Avalanche, which I am.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what? Let's go back to the drawing board and let's go back to getting on board with my strategy.
Yeah.
With the original game.
Yes, 100%. Well, that's the thing is like these events, like you say, it gets you into panic and then you don't know, like you can't trust your plan anymore. You're starting to get confused and then you have to, like that's a very powerful thing that you just said. And like a lot of traders miss that, is to be able to know that you've got a plan. You should remember you've got a plan and you have to go back to it. Exactly. So that's wise. That's wise.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see if that was wise or not.
Yeah. Well,
what you're looking at, right? It's now it's live, right?
Yeah.
We're talking about the live market, and it's happening right now as we speak.
Yep.
And I'm sharing like real moments right now from my trading room.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's going to end up well, if it's going to be successful. I do believe it will, but we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah.
But what I did was I slowly but surely got back to my original position, and not in a favorable area, right? I'm already kind of selling on the lowest low.
Yeah.
But I do know there's more potential in that pipeline, more downside potential because, that's my system, that's my strategy.
Yep.
So I got back in, and you can see price is roughly hovering around that level, that entry level. Same I did with the Stellar. Here's the Stellar. I got out. A couple of hours later, I got back in.
Yeah.
And I'm still there, right? I'm still there, having a stop loss level relatively tight in case there's going to be a violent upside reversal. I want to get the hell out of there.
Yeah.
But I do believe it will continue the move to the target. Here again, the target is 24.41. We're not there yet.
Yeah.
So that's just an example of how hectic it was. And like I said, and even yesterday when the market started to dive, I was roughly around the levels of 27.80 here, and it started to drop, and that's where I flipped over, came back later to find it right here, made a big profit on it, got out, and then got back in again, right?
Got you. Yeah, well, only time will tell. Only time will tell, Roy.
That's a nice example of hectic moments that are part and parcel of being a trader.
Yeah, that's part of the game. That's part of the game. But yeah, I think this was a very, very valuable explanation of what's currently happening in the market. I appreciate that. We got to do this again. I think this is it's a time to be very cautious in the market, especially with all the bombs dropping all around the world. So let's keep a close eye.
Yeah, before it was tariffs, now it's this.
Exactly.
Right? It's always something.
Exactly. So yeah, we'll come back to this again and see what happened over here. Always good to hear your explanation and your perspective of what's happening. And then I'll catch you in the next video.